I'm Patty Ann Brown, and you are in the strategy room. Top Democratic leaders, including presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, are calling on the Obama administration to stop immigration raids recently begun targeting Central Americans who are entering the U.S. illegally. The White House says those raids, which were carried out the first weekend of the new year, reflect the administration's top priorities for deportation. Joining us now with political analysis are Lestingi and Ron Bonjean, both in D.C. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks so much.
So White House officials say these tactics are in line with new deportation policies that prioritize criminals and recent arrivals. All of those targeted had arrived after 2014 and had exhausted their legal options. Ron, what do you think of this?
Well, look, this is definitely a challenge for Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton and, frankly, Democrats in general, because the Obama administration is trying to enforce the law, and they're trying to send a message to Central American families that don't cross our borders or else we're going to kick you out and we're going to arrest you. In fact, the Obama administration has an advertising campaign going on right now in Latin America, trying to discourage this immigration from happening. But the problem is it goes counter to the Hispanic message that Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders want to deliver, which is we're inclusive, we welcome you. They don't want to turn off those voters. So
yes.
It's definitely different messages at a difficult time for them.
Yeah, and those raids immediately drew sharp criticism from presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley. Hillary Clinton at first seemed to avoid the subject, but now she is saying she would ensure government lawyers for all unaccompanied minors and increase funding for immigration courts. Joe, what do you make of Mrs. Clinton's reaction?
Well, I think her reaction was actually the proper reaction to the situation. It was measured. It was thought through. She didn't come to the table without some other options to say what she would do. I think the White House may have done a little bit of a flub by publicizing these raids so much. Let's be clear on the numbers. There were 121 individuals that were targeted. Just to give you some context, on average, about 2 years ago, 1,200 people a day were deported from this country. So this was something that the administration thought they would put out, and it would look good. It would say, hey, we're doing what you've asked us to do in the past. We want you to know, America, that this is going on, despite all the rhetoric that's out there. Hillary Clinton sat back. Bernie was quick to jump on it, and so was Martin. Hillary Clinton sat back and said, this is what I would do, and it was a good measured response. I actually think it made her look measured on this issue. I think the Hispanic caucuses will appreciate that in the end, and then Hispanic voters that have this as a number one issue can also say, hey, look, she's reasonable and she's got a measured approach to this issue.
Well, the administration wasn't the only entity publicizing these raids, although, as you say, it's a small number. These raids were apparently very dramatic. The word going around the Hispanic community is that these guys are banging down doors, terrifying families, etc. Ron, Democrats are questioning, despite all this, whether or not these raids will actually deter women and children who are desperate, many fleeing brutal gang warfare in El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. Advocates say they should be considered refugees, actually. Ron, what do you say to that?
Well, I would say that with the Obama administration, they're caught between a rock and a hard place, because if they back down and more illegal immigration occurs, you could have another situation that we had a couple of years ago, where you had 1,200 people a day crossing illegally, and it became a huge media sensation having that happen now in the middle of a presidential primary and presidential campaign would be very bad for Democrats, I think. So, it'd be very difficult for them to back down. Although, the administration has met with House Democrats and has discussed this, I just don't see them backing away. Maybe they'll stop publicizing it. But, it's a difficult situation.
It is. In fact, early on in his administration, President Obama was called the deporter-in-chief. Back then, he presided over record removals of illegal immigrants. But then during that 2014 immigration crisis that Ron just mentioned, he won praise from Latinos. He issued executive actions that spared millions from deportation. That's actually being challenged now in court. But, Joe, might we face a new immigration crisis like we saw 2 years ago?
Well, people expect the spring, which is one of the peak times during the illegal immigration process, to be another big spring. In fact, they're projecting that it could be bigger than it was in the past. But I will say this, with economic improvements both here and hopefully in South American and Central American countries, that will keep the illegal flow of undocumented workers down a bit. It's good to be optimistic like that, but in the end, the president said it last night in the State of the Union, we have to fix our broken immigration system. And until we do that, as Ron just pointed out, and you just pointed out, and I pointed out, he was the deportation chief leader before, and now he is not deporting enough people, and then he's too aggressive in his rates. There's just no right answer today. We have to fix the system, but it doesn't look like Congress is going to take that up.
Yeah, easier said than done. All right, Joe Lestingi, Ron Bonjean, thank you as always for joining us.
Thanks very much.
And for more on this developing story, you can go to foxnews.com. I'm Patty Ann Brown. Thanks for watching.